Good morning, everyone. Hope you're all safe and well. Remember, if you are new to the channel, don't forget, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and please make sure you hit that bell icon to be notified of any new content as and when we upload it. So this is just a quick video. I'm on dog walking duties today, so thanks for joining me. This is about the under-23s game yesterday that took place at Rush Green against Aldershot Town's first team. Unfortunately, unlike the previous couple of streams that I've done, the Southend game, the WHUFC game for the under-18s, and the Ebbsfleet United game for the 23s, this game was played, sadly, behind closed doors at Rush Green. You know, I don't want to get into my opinions on that. It's probably too long a conversation to sort of like, why am I allowed to go to Roots Hall and all the others and not allowed to go to Rush Green? Anyway, it is what it is. So West Ham put out a pretty strong team. They actually had two over 23 players. They had starting. They had David Martin starting, and they had Arthur Masuaku making his first appearance after his long injury layoff. He played the first half. He was replaced by Manny Longello in the second half, but he got 45 minutes under his belt in his return, his rehabilitation, if you will, from injury. So we started the game fairly strong, and after 22 minutes, young Armstrong Oko-Flex got the opener, and the assist was provided by Arthur Masuaku. He released Oko-Flex with a very good through ball, which Oko-Flex finished with a great deal of composure, and West Ham were 1-0 up. However, a matter of 9 minutes later or so, we had an equaliser that was scored against us. Pierre Ekwa, his pass was intercepted, and the player went through on David Martin's goal, and with a left foot strike got the equaliser, which was how it stayed until half time. Do excuse me looking around, because obviously at any moment my dog could do something that might have to I might have to stop and attend to, so do excuse me if that comes to pass. Anyway, so 1-1 at half time. About 4 minutes in, however, there was a swinging cross that was played in, and the finish come from the Aldershot Town player past David Martin, who is still in goal at this point, to make it 2-1. Pretty much from that point on, it looks as though we were fairly dominant, but without being able to sort of get through into the, get the ball into the goal. And you're thinking, okay. But with about 19 minutes or so left of the match, Oko-Flex once more pops up and gets an equaliser, which was how the match stayed until the end. Now, I'm looking at it and thinking, so that's now, Oko-Flex has now got 4 goals in pre-season, one of which actually came in a game for the first team, in the game up at Celtic Park, where we won, obviously, by a scoreline of 6-2. And obviously, Oko-Flex is a former Celtic, player. Now, I'm looking at his performances in pre-season. Obviously, the fact he's got 2 goals yesterday, the fact he scored against Celtic. I'm looking at him and thinking that this is possibly a player that's possibly going to be making a little bit of an impact this season. I mean, to be fair, I looked at the 3 players that we brought in, with Oko-Flex, with Ekwa and Thierry Nevers, and I'm sort of looking at them and thinking, well, these are probably players that are not going to make much of an impact this season. They're probably just players that are going to come in, play maybe a couple of games in the League Cup, but that's probably about all they're going to expect. To be honest, I'm actually now looking at Oko-Flex especially, but even the other 2. As I say, I've seen Nevers and Ekwa up close, as well as Oko-Flex. And to be honest, they've all they've all sort of like impressed me. I mean, Thierry Nevers got, well, it was debated whether he got a hat-trick or not against Southend. He was initially credited as getting a hat-trick, but I saw something in the week that said that one of the goals was possibly debatable whether he actually got the final touch. Okay, whatever. He got 2 goals, he got 3 goals, whatever. But in that Southend game, I was actually quite impressed by Pierre Ekwa. Again, I'm not sort of going overboard, and I'm mindful of the fact that this is Southend were a Tier 5 team, but obviously Oko-Flex has played for the 23s, but he's also been included in the first team squad, obviously up at Celtic Park. He's got some more minutes under his belt against Aldershot yesterday in that 2-2 draw, and yeah, I'm sort of looking at him especially and thinking he actually might be more involved a little bit more than what we think, all things being equal. Anyway, so yesterday, 2-2 draw at Rush Green, and I'll put the teams down below for anybody that wants to know who started, who came on. As I say, we started with David Martin and Arthur Masuaku as the overage players. But the rest of the guys for the 23s all got a fairly decent run out. As I say, Ekwa played the whole 90 minutes. And as I say, Armstrong Oko-Flex with a brace. And yeah, I think that those 3 players, I mean, Nevers unfortunately is out at the minute with an injury. I'm not too sure what the prognosis is with regards to his return. But I think maybe those 3, I'm looking and thinking, maybe these 3 might be getting more game time than we think. And Armstrong Oko-Flex is probably the one out of the 3 that I'm looking at and thinking, because he's obviously had that involvement with the first team in the Celtic fixture, that actually he's the one that possibly David Moyes is looking at with the most hopes for going forwards. And as I say, I mean, I've said it on a stream before, and I'll say it again. We've got the thing on as we come out of the sort of like the tunnel, on the carpet, the Academy of Football, and this is something that all West Ham fans are very, very proud of having that tag that is associated with us. But it seems to me that in recent years we've kind of not done it as much as possibly a team with that sort of tag should have done. I mean, Declan Rice aside, we've not really had too many players that have come through from the academy teams into the first teams in about the last 5-10 years and have really sort of like stayed there. I mean, yes, you could turn around and say, well, we have brought players through, but they haven't been good enough. Well, again, like I say, I'm not bothered about sort of like bringing players through and they don't make it and they go on and play for Charlton on loan or Anderlecht or Oxford United or this, that and the other. I'm really interested in players coming through and making a significant impact in the first team. And that's what I think we need to try and sort of improve on that record. Because as I say, if we're going to try and paint ourselves as the Academy of Football, we need to live up to that tag. We need to take ownership of it. But as I say, I'm looking at these 3, and they'll have their time with the 23s. But I do think they're going to get some game time in the first team, possibly more than what we think. And as I say, keep your eyes out for Armstrong Oko-Flex. That's a name that I think you're going to hear quite a lot of this season. I think he's going to be involved, and he's one for the future, but he's possibly the future's not as far away as you think. So there you go. Anyway, West Ham United under 23s get a 2-2 draw at Rush Green against Aldershot Town's first team in the run-up to their season opener, which ordinarily I'd have said I'd love to, I'll be there for, and I'll give you a match report. But unfortunately, I will be on my holidays, and it's a bit of a distance away from where that game is going to be taking place, which is actually going to be London Stadium. So if any of you guys are watching and want to sort of see what the under-23s have to offer, get yourselves down there. You know, give them your support, and let's try and sort of get as many people down to London Stadium for the 23s game as possible, and hopefully get the result. I believe it's against Arsenal. I'm fairly sure it's against Arsenal. But yeah, let's try and get as many people down there as possible and give the boys our support. Anyway, I'm going to end it there. Only one thing left to say, guys, other than stay safe and come on, you Irons.